Hey guys, it's Friday again. Wow, I can't believe it's been a whole week since I've been home. Um, so it was last Friday that I got off work early. I think it was around 12:30 or so that they dropped me off at the bus station, the subway station. But I had Ubered it to work that morning, I think. Yes, I had Ubered it to work that morning because I had forgot to top up my pet, what's it called? Not Petro, Presto card for transit. Sorry for that background noise. I think they're vacuuming upstairs. Anyways, I had forgot to top it up with money to get to work. So there wasn't enough money on the card to get me to work. So I Ubered it to work, and I intended to because like if you top it up online, the funds aren't available for like 24 hours. So that wouldn't have been enough. So my plan was to go after work to the subway station, refill it at one of those machines there, because then if you do it that way, the funds are available right away, and then I would have taken that to go home. They dropped me off at the subway. I went to go in, and it dawned on me just then, I realized that I had actually forgot my Presto card at home because it was like super, super warm that day, and I didn't want to wear my winter coat, and my card was in my winter coat pocket. So I forgot to switch it over when I took a new coat, a lighter jacket to work. So I had to Uber it home again that day. So I think I got home at like 1:30 that day. And other than our little grocery shopping haul the next day on the Saturday, I have not left my apartment. But funny enough, like, it hasn't really bothered me. And I think the reason it hasn't bothered me is because, like, I've done this already. Like, having chronic illness, you're at home a lot. So, like, I've had so many colds, stomach bugs. I've had strep throat 2 years in a row where I've been, like, sick, and I've been, like, at home for, like, 1 to 2 weeks at a time sometimes. Just sick as a dog in bed. And then, like, even when I work part-time, I have days off, and unless I'm getting together with like Paula or Marilyn, to have like a dull day here and there, or unless I have like a doctor's appointment, I generally don't go out. I just stay home and rest so that I'm rested for work the next day, because fatigue is like the number one symptom with lupus and joint pain and all that stuff. So I take my days off to like rest my body and all that stuff. So I generally don't go out that much as it is. The only times, like I said, the only times I go out is either to work, to go out with friends, or to go to doctor's appointments. Other than that, the odd time I may just like go to the mall for the heck of it by myself, or I may just go for a little walk around the block. But that's rare that I do that. Most of the time I am at home. So I'm used to it. And then especially like in the last year where I was unemployed a lot, I was at home for weeks at a time, like before I had like a doctor's appointment or whatever that I had to go out to. So this is nothing new for me. So it's been a week, and so what's happening is I am currently out of work now, officially out of work until all of this resolves, which of course no one knows. Like, this is the thing that I don't like about what's happening right now, is the uncertainty. So like, we just don't know when all of this is going to end. So I had thought that I would be back to work next week, because I thought, from what I had read on the list of what they're considering essential businesses, I thought that the family I'm working for, I thought the parents fell under essential services and were still working. Which, according to the list, as I said in my past video, the list said childcare for how did they word it? Basically, like if the parents are essential businesses, then I would be considered essential childcare for them. So I was thinking, oh, you know, like I could go back to work, but it was more or less I wanted to see what they were comfortable with, being that the mom is high risk and I'm high risk. I did contact the nurse at the lupus clinic because I have her email address, and I asked her opinion. I told her what my job is, what it entails. I let her know the mom is also high risk because of pregnancy, all the things, gave her all the details, just asked, like, is it advisable for lupus patients to actually stay home right now, or is it okay for me to work? She gave me the okay to work. She said, as long as you are following all of the precautions, which, as I said before, I follow those precautions year round. This is not new to me. Hand washing, sanitizing, disinfecting, trying to keep contact with other people. Like, this is not new to me. This is something that I do every single day of my life because I know I'm immune compromised. So this is nothing new. I guess the only thing that to me was sort of new is that there's some videos out there now showing you how to disinfect your groceries when you bring them home. And it's something that I never really thought about doing before until now. And I'm kind of like, is it really necessary? Like, or is it overkill? I mean, we've always been fine. We don't disinfect our groceries. And when we wash our fruits and vegetables, we wash them just by running them under water and like scrubbing them a bit. So I think, you know, given the circumstances, I guess we'll have to start disinfecting our groceries. But other than that, like nothing else, like this is stuff that I do all the time. So it hasn't really like affected me in that way. But anyways, so after I heard back from the lupus nurse and got the okay to work, then I decided to contact the family because I hadn't heard from them yet and let them know the information I got from the lupus nurse and all that stuff. And I just said, you know, I'm totally fine coming back to work. If you guys are essential, then I'm essential. You know, I asked them if they were considered essential because I wasn't 100% sure. Anyways, the reply I got back was that they are not essential workers. So the father is currently out of work. The mom, while they're not deemed essential, they are able to work from home on the business. However, with everything that's been going on, the business has been basically cut in half. So she's basically down to half of a paycheck than what she usually gets. And the dad is completely out of work. And then on top of it, she said that all three of them have a cold right now. Although, as far as I know, it's not COVID-19, but they all have a cold, which obviously they don't want to bring me around. So anyways, all that to say, basically they just said like, they'll definitely still pay me for this week that I was off because that's what we agreed upon. They can pay me for next week as well, but after that, they don't think it's feasible for them to continue paying me, obviously, when they hardly have an income coming in themselves, which is totally understandable. And I mean, this is like almost everyone is in this situation right now. Like, this is worldwide. Everyone's dealing with things like this with their employment because of what's happening. So it's understandable. So, you know, I definitely let them know that I still hope to keep working with them once things get back to normal, and they definitely want me back. They're enjoying having me. I'm enjoying working for them. So, you know, and they're like, but we understand that, you know, like, since we're not paying you, like, we can't really ask of you to stick around, you know, if you find other employment, but I really like working for them. So, and I mean, they're still putting through the paperwork, like, to have me down as employee. So it's like, well, if I was planning to look for another job, I wouldn't make them put me down as an employee. So I'm sticking it out. I'm sticking with them. Now our government has, they will be rolling out, I think, like in another week or two, hopefully no longer than that. Like hopefully it's going to be soon that they're rolling out the emergency funds, because I already know I don't qualify for unemployment at this time. I have not worked enough hours. And I found this out because they finally processed my unemployment insurance form that I had submitted when I lost my job in December. They were finally able to process it because I finally got all of the record of employment submitted. And they said that I didn't have enough hours worked, which I knew. I figured that because I last claimed EI in August, and then that's when I found my job, my previous job. So I knew I couldn't collect EI. So thankfully the government has brought out what they're calling the emergency benefit, I believe it is, or the emergency fund benefit, something like that. It's where everyone will get, not everyone, but I guess like whoever qualifies for it, which my understanding, the guidelines that I've read is that if you are still employed but not being paid, which is what I would fall under, because I'm still going to be employed by them, just not not being paid, then I can apply for this benefit, and it'll be $2,000 per month for the next 4 months. Now, when they said for the next 4 months, that made me really nervous, because it made me think that they're thinking that this is going to go on for at least another 4 months. And I really hope not. Like, I don't like hearing that. I want things to get back to normal as soon as possible. Like, I was enjoying this new job. Like, I want to get back to my job. I was having a lot of fun with it. And like, we had signed up to start some mom and tot type classes at the community center. We were going to do an art class, and we were going to do a music class. And I was so excited. Those were going to start mid-April. And so he would be, I'm trying to think, 12, 13. Right now he's 13 months old. So he'd be 14 months old when we would start these classes. And it did say like the age category on the classes, and he fell under that. And oh, that reminds me, like someone on my last video was like, how can you plan activities for a 1-year-old? Guys, just because they're 1 year old doesn't mean they can't do anything. You can definitely plan activities for a 1-year-old. This is what I went to school for. I went to college to be an early childhood educator, and I learned how to plan activities for infants, toddlers, preschoolers, kindergartens. Like, yeah, I worked with, I've taken care of babies from like, oh gosh, when I looked after Jeremy, he was 3 weeks old. And for the first year, I didn't exactly plan activities for him, because the first year it's hard to do like elaborate activities. Learning happens more spontaneously on a day-to-day basis. So we would do tummy time. We would play with his toys. I would read him books. I read him books from the time I started. Like when he was 3 weeks old, we read books, and his vocabulary, his mom attributes the fact that both his parents and I read him books from the time he was born. His vocabulary is outstanding now. And he did start saying a lot of words before he was even a year old. So you can definitely do activities. Now, it was the same thing with Annie. Once Annie turned 1, or I would say, yeah, she was 1, but at that time I had both her and her sister because it was summer vacation. Once school started back and Margaret started kindergarten, and I just had Annie by myself for the first part of the day, we would do very simple activities. It's all simple activities at that age. So we would do like mostly sensory. So letting them play with ice cubes or whipped cream, like just scrunching up whipped cream in your hand and smearing it all around. Playing with cooked pasta. Um, you can even do like mess-free painting. So you get like a Ziploc bag, you put a couple of globs of paint in there, you seal it up really well. You double bag it in another Ziploc bag, and they can move the paint around in there and not get it on their hands, because they're obviously going to want to eat it and you don't want them eating paint. You can also introduce them to painting by making edible paint. That's like completely fine if they put it in their mouth, although I still encourage them not to do that the whole time, just so that they get used to the concept of painting and not putting it in their mouth, so that once we transition to actual paints, they know not to put it in their mouth. And that's what I did with Annie, and that's what I've been doing with my new little guy. So I've made paint out of pudding. You get some pudding, you add some food coloring in it, let them paint with that, or the same thing, yogurt, add food coloring to it. They can paint with the yogurt. You can even put like a little piece of paper in a Ziploc bag and do the mess-free finger painting in the Ziploc bag. We also bought the Crayola mess-free finger paint. It's like a little gel kind of thing, and you use the magic paper that comes with it, and they can finger paint with this gel, and then it appears like color on the paper. So we've been doing that. I've collected like lids from the little squeezy baby food packs. I collected those because Annie and Margaret used to eat those a lot, and I kept all the lids because I found these activities on Pinterest that you could do with the lids, like stringing them or just putting them in like a sensory bin and scooping them with a shovel and scooping them into like I'll have like cups and bowls that they can scoop them into. You can tape with painter's tape. You can tape sticky contact paper on the floor and let them press on it with their hands or walk on it with their bare feet. We've done that. I've taped bubble wrap to the floor and let him walk on that. And wow, he figured out how to stomp on that real fast. He figured out how to actually pop those. And then speaking of popping, I also blow bubbles, let him chase the bubbles and pop them. There is so much that you can do with a 1-year-old. Just go on Pinterest. Like there's an endless amount of activities that you can plan. We've done Play-Doh. I did homemade Play-Doh, so it's non-toxic. We've done Play-Doh. We have just done various sensory bins with ice cubes. We've done water play. I mean, there is so much you could do activity-wise. Gluing. We've done some gluing where I just let him, I'll get a paper and I'll just put the glue all over the paper, because right now he's obviously doesn't know how to squeeze the bottle. And sometimes I'll put glue in a container, and you can use a popsicle stick to put it on, but he's a little young for that yet. So I spray the glue like all over the paper, and then I give him stuff to stick in it, and he can just stick it down. We've done sticker collages, just like it's a fine motor activity for him to learn how to hold the sticker and place it on the paper. Stickers, we've done gluing, we've done handprints. Yeah, like there's a lot that you can do with a 1-year-old, believe it or not. So yeah, and as I said, this app that I had, it's called Playfully, the app, and they give us fun activity ideas as well with things that are usually around your home. Lots of stuff. So it's really good. Yeah, I won't keep going on. I mean, I can go on and on and on with all the activities that you can do. And then obviously as he gets older, the activities can get more intricate. Like we can do more of the things like that I used to do with Annie, which is like matching colors, matching shapes, you know, and then it just progresses. You know, you can do more cognitive activities. But yeah, well, we even did like another thing I did at work recently, I taped sticky contact paper to the wall and had a whole bunch of different textured items like fabric, foam, pom-poms, cotton, some bubble wrap, fur, just all different things that he could just stick onto the contact paper. So yeah, there's lots of stuff. So anyways, there's that. So yes, so now I'm out of work. Who knows how long. The mom that I work for was saying that apparently with China, she says if it's going to be anything like China was, I believe she said, like 6 weeks to 2 months. So she's like, hopefully it won't be any longer than 2 months. But then I just read yesterday that China is now closing things again. They're closing up the border for foreign travel because they're preparing for a second wave. So I was like, oh gosh. So like no one knows what the heck is going on and how long this is going to go on for. It's crazy. But at least I can get the emergency funds from the government, so we'll be okay. And Alex's work, I think, is trying to apply for the wage subsidy. I think that's what it is that they're trying to apply for. And so what that'll do is for the 2 days a week that he won't be working, if they are approved to get this wage subsidy, it'll give him, I believe, 60 to 75% of what his usual pay would be on those 2 days. So that's excellent. So our sweet pork, we got 4 nights of dinner out of that. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. So now we are making our Hawaiian meatballs in the slow cooker. So it should hopefully be done in another hour and a half. It's smelling good. I can smell the pineapple. Another thing that I saw going around, so there's different things that people have started during this quarantine or whatever you want to call it. So something that's been going around, a friend of mine that I knew from high school, who also was my supervisor at the last daycare I worked at. Sorry, I'm just wiping up something on my table here. Something dripped all over. Sorry, guys. So she was my supervisor for a while at the last daycare I worked at, which was really kind of funny because we went to high school together and we were in the music theater program together. And anyways, she posted that people have started tying blue ribbons on the trees in their front yard to show support and to say thank you to all of the doctors and nurses who are on the front lines. So my friend did it, and someone else she knows did it. I don't know how widespread. I mean, things can get shared around on Facebook, but it's hard to know how far. I haven't been out for a walk. I'm thinking of going for a walk shortly. Excuse me, because it's really nice outside today. The sun is shining and it's really mild out, so I'm thinking of going for a walk. Riley is actually enjoying a sunspot right now. If you can see. He's enjoying a sunspot. Yeah, so I'm thinking of going for a walk shortly, and I might tie a ribbon. Now, the ribbon that they were using was like a royal blue color. I don't have royal blue ribbon. All I have is, it's like baby blue. This is all the ribbon I have. So, yeah, so I only have like baby blue ribbon, like this. So, and it has to be long enough to tie around our tree. So, I mean, it's blue. It's still blue. So I think I might go and put one on our tree and see. Like, I noticed that a lot of people on Facebook mentioned that their communities have like their own Facebook page, and that way they can spread things like this around. I can't seem to find a community page for my community. I don't know if there is one. But also another thing that people have been doing, and my friend Diana is actually doing it, is putting a teddy bear in the window so that when kids go for a walk with their parents, they can do like a scavenger hunt looking for teddy bears in the window. Other places that I've heard of are also doing like pictures. So the kids will draw pictures and put them in the window, and then you can kind of have like a scavenger hunt looking for things in the windows. So I thought that was a cute idea, but again, I don't know that my neighborhood is really doing it. We do have kids in the neighborhood. There's 2 schools nearby, but I just don't know if like our community is the type of community to do stuff like that, unfortunately. And the only window that we have that faces the street is our front door. So I don't have a windowsill there to put a teddy bear in. So it would have to be like a picture, I think, to tape up there. Another thing that some other people did was put like their a new American Girl doll in the window each day, like for people that have large collections. So that's pretty cool. Like, I like that people are, you know, kind of coming together and doing these things. So, you know, there's I don't know, I always look at it like you got to look at the silver lining a little bit. Like, this is giving people a bit of a vacation, a bit of a break. I mean, sure, it's stressful with the finances and the economical side of things, but it's giving families a chance to connect. Like, I've seen so many cool videos online of parents with their kids making funny videos or just dancing and singing and posting it online. It's been really interesting. Like, it's nice. It's to see like these families that are like, you know, coming together and spending time together, and they're playing board games and they're singing and dancing together. And it's just like, it's forcing families to spend time together that a lot of times they may not get to do that much with work and chores and all that stuff. So that's been nice to see. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just nice. Like, everyone, it gives everyone like a little bit of a vacation, a little break. And I saw this one meme that I thought was pretty funny. And it was like, you know, our grandparents, you know, like they had to go to war. All we have to do to, you know, save people is lay on the couch at home and watch TV. So they're like, you know, don't waste this time, people. Just, you know, take this time to like lay around and binge watch shows. And that's actually what I've been doing. Like, I've been using this week like to just, I've gotten some chores done around the house too. Like, I've done cleaning, we did our meal preps and all that. But I've also just been like taking the time to catch up on some of my favorite shows, catch up on some of my favorite YouTube channels that I haven't got to watch their videos in a while. And just like, you know, and also like I've been having major back pain this week. So I've been trying to take it easy and not do too much to rest my back. It's feeling a little bit better today, but yesterday I could barely move. So, you know, like, whatever. I'm just like binge watching the hell out of YouTube and stuff. I haven't really been in the mood to do anything with my dolls or my doll collection lately. And I think it's just, you know, while I'm trying to look on the bright side in some ways, like, it is a stressful time. So I think, you know, I was just very heavily like watching the news and just reading stuff online and just trying to keep as informed as I can on the situation and what to do and what's happening. And I've been talking with other lupus patients online, because there's been a few now that have COVID-19, and so they're sharing their experiences. And so for me, like, I'm wanting to watch that to see, you know, how it affects them. It seems to be that because we're already taking Plaquenil, which is hydroxychloroquine, it seems to be that the lupus patients so far have done okay and their symptoms aren't that bad. And it might be because they're already on the hydroxychloroquine, which is starting to be tested to treat COVID-19. This has also become a huge problem, though, for us lupus patients, because we take hydroxychloroquine every day pretty much for the rest of our lives, as long as we can tolerate it, because it's a disease-modifying drug for us. So it's supposed to lessen the amount of flares. It's supposed to make the flares that we do get less severe, and it's supposed to protect our organs from organ damage during a flare. So it's a very important drug for us to take, and they've already begun to experience shortages in it. Now, thankfully, I just filled mine last week, and I have a 90-day supply, but some other patients haven't been so lucky. Some patients have not been able to get their medication refilled because of a shortage. A couple of patients have even reported that their doctor has decreased their dose or taken them off of it completely. One doctor took a patient off of her hydroxychloroquine and said, "Thank you for your sacrifice." And I was like, what? That's so wrong. Like, so this is going to be a problem for lupus patients, not being able to get their medication and having a shortage of medication, because all these doctors are now ordering tons of hydroxychloroquine to give to their patients. I mean, it's great if it is helping with the COVID-19, but then they need to start manufacturing more of the drug, because lupus patients need their medication. Like, our lives literally depend on it. So I don't know. Anyways, Alex got out of work early today, and he's currently at the grocery store just picking up a couple of things that we ran out of that we need, like milk and, you know, some other essential items that, you know, fruits and vegetables and stuff, like they're gone within like a week here. So so we have to get those weekly, but there's not that much. And then, like, I think even after we get this, I don't think we'll just have to get probably even less next week. So also just wanted to mention another blessing in disguise that I feel about this situation is, at least I get to stay home and stay safe, because every day that I would have been going out to work would be putting myself at risk. You know, I can follow all the precautions, but it's still a risk. It's a risk, because I am immune compromised. So in the end, you know, as much as it sucks and as much as I wish I was back at work, it is a blessing in disguise, because I get to stay home and stay safe. And thankfully our government has stepped up and they brought out this emergency fund for us. I know that a lot of people give Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford a lot of flack. A lot of people don't like them. I personally, in the last few weeks, I have been very impressed with how they have handled things. Yes, they did delay to shut down non-essentials. Yes, the list of essential businesses is longer than I think it should be. I think more places need to be closed than open. So there's that part that I think they could be doing better on trying to get things under control with. But overall, I felt that, you know, I watch every day now when they come on and give their announcement for the day or their update for the day on things. And I feel like they've been very well spoken and professional, and they're moving quickly to help us get these funds as fast as they can anyway. I think overall I've been impressed with how things are being handled. I mean, obviously there's always room for improvement, but compared to things I've seen in the past with them, I've been impressed, and so has my mom, and so has a few other people that I've talked to. We've been pretty impressed with how they've stepped up in this situation. So there's that. Hey guys, there's the blue ribbon on our tree. It worked out okay. It's not the right blue, but it's blue. Here is dinner. Hawaiian meatballs with rice. We did a side of corn. Looks good and it smells good. Is it good?
I haven't tried it yet.
You haven't tried it yet? Also, we found this. It is Quebec Maple Coke. And we found it last weekend when we were grocery shopping. So we've got 2 packs of it. And it's really good. So we're having that with dinner. Have you tried it?
No.
Try it.